We are 10 days into 2023, and it's our first opportunity to talk to San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg about what he sees in the new year. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I want to talk about the St. Mary's Strip, and particularly there's been an idea floated about helping out some of these businesses that are suffered because of the road construction that seems to be ongoing there. I know there's a discussion tomorrow. Explain to me what that discussion is and what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Sure. Well, I asked the city to work on a grant proposal, and tomorrow they'll present a relief program for businesses that were hit with the two punches of COVID and then subsequent construction. This is a great step forward for the affected businesses, and I share the frustrations of those who have been impacted by the post-COVID protracted construction projects. I'm especially glad that some of the affected businesses were consulted on the structure of the relief program that would be presented tomorrow by our city manager, Eric Walsh. The city manager has authorization under the previous ARPA ordinance to go ahead and execute that plan. So really tomorrow's discussion is feedback from the council, and assuming there's no pivots, he should execute on that program immediately. So it's a good step forward, I think, for some of the discussion that we've been having for a few months now regarding those businesses.
So if the execution could happen immediately, when could these businesses actually get the money in hand?
Yeah, we're going to learn the timeline for the grant proposal tomorrow. And, you know, as with any grant proposal, there is an application process and eligibility criteria that has to be verified. But our goal is to make sure that those businesses that are affected, again, by the two punches of COVID and protracted construction, they have access to those funds as soon as possible. So again, we'll get the specifics on the timeline tomorrow. There will be an application period and vetting of those proposals, of those applications, but our goal is to get that relief out as quickly as we can.
Are you confident that this relief is enough to help some of those businesses who say that they're just struggling to make it day by day?
You know, the ultimate relief can only be provided by those construction projects being finished. And the city manager and I have discussed that. He's going to also talk about the context of those construction projects and some steps that he's going to be taking to ensure that those projects are finished expeditiously. We know that the St. Mary's construction project, for instance, has a timeline of March. We want to make sure that that doesn't slip anymore. We want to make sure that everything that we can do to provide access for those businesses while there is construction underway, we're doing what we can do there as well. So there's multiple efforts underway to ensure that construction projects are completed, especially those that are in big avenues and corridors that are impacting a lot of businesses. And we're going to hear all about those plans from the city management tomorrow.
The new legislative session just started in Austin today. The city always has what is on its list, its legislative agenda, list of wants and needs. Is there something topping that list that the city is really going to be trying to make happen in Austin during this session?
You know, I will say this, a common feature in our legislative agenda over the last perhaps 20 years now is the fact that we don't want to be gripped in the kind of inaction and polarized paralysis that you see, that frankly you saw in Congress last week. That is a feature that is becoming more prevalent in legislatures across the country. And the reason why local governments are effective is because we can create solutions to the problems that are experienced by our neighbors, and we can execute on those. And so our legislative agenda is really centered on ensuring that we can deliver basic services and that there's no legislation that negatively impacts our ability to provide services to our residents, whether that's delivering on protections offered by emergency services, to our development codes, to our ability to keep the lights on and ensure that we have a reliable electrical grid. So all of that has been a common feature of a legislative agenda, but ensuring local authority for our residents to get the job done through their local government is probably job number one.
So a group called the Justice Coalition, Act for SA and others, formally entered their petitions to the city clerk's office today, asking for some changes in police procedure and the decriminalization of certain things like marijuana. Your initial thoughts on that idea?
Well, so first, I've long been on the record in support of a woman's right to choose. And frankly, marijuana laws across this country, particularly in this state, are in dire need of reconsideration to better reflect the views of the public that we've seen in poll after poll. The appropriate bodies of government have failed to act on many of these issues within the petition, so I understand the public's frustration and the petition writers' frustration on that. That said, many of the issues presented in the petition appear to be governed by state laws, which can't be altered by a city charter. So going forward, my hope is that we can continue to do right by the people under the rule of law. But again, city charter does not trump state law, and I think there's some challenges there with what's being presented.
I want to shift gears here a little bit. You know, you spearheaded the no confidence vote against Councilman Perry after his investigation in the hit and run accident. Since the last time we've talked, he's formally been charged with DUI. Does that change the situation at all for you?
No, I've been clear from the very start. If the allegations were true that Clayton Perry should not be on the city council, he should resign. What is in the charter, the only authority that the city council has to remove a member, though, is on conviction of a crime of moral turpitude. So in absence of a conviction, the authority or the choice of whether or not to be seated as an elected official is really up to the member, him or herself, and the voters. The only other recourse the voters would have to select a new council member prior to an election, though, is through a recall petition. And that, as of yet, has not occurred. But there has not been a conviction yet in this case, and until there isn't any decision for the council to make with regard to whether or not Clayton Perry can remain a council member officially.
And, you know, speaking of the future of the city council, we got a big deadline coming up, the deadline to file to run in the May election. Is your name going to be on the list to run for mayor again?
I have one term left, and God willing, I will be serving my final term after the May election. I'll be termed out after 4 terms, but it has been the honor and a privilege of a life to represent this community. We have come together through some difficult times, and we're doing some very important work, good work for the future of our community, and my intent is to continue doing that work.
All right, so I'm going to be at the Alamo Dome on Friday. I'm going to broadcast live from there at 5 and 6. Am I going to see you down there?
You will see me down there. Wouldn't miss it. 50th anniversary of the San Antonio Spurs, which is a huge moment for our entire community. I will say this. Thank you for bringing it up. We know that traffic is always a challenge. This game starts at 6:30, which is an early tip-off because of television. If you're planning to go down there, go early. Go there early. Make sure that you leave plenty of time to commute and to park and to walk from your vehicle. And if you happen to work downtown and you're not going to the game, take alternate routes or see if you can remote work or perhaps even leave early on Friday if you can. But, you know, we're expecting a full house at the Dome, and we want to make sure everybody has a good time, and that includes considerations for traffic.
Yeah, Greg Simmons has already reminded me that I need to leave early. I need to get there. He goes, don't think you're going to leave at 4 o'clock and get there by 5. So he's already cautioned me.
Already.
Yeah.
There was some finger wagging. So we're on the up and up on that. Mayor, thank you so much. Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
You too. Thanks.
Take care.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.